Imagine this. A gigantic ice block weighing an astounding 3,000 kilograms embarks on an incredible journey that will span thousands of miles. The catch? This is not an ordinary journey. It's a quest through treacherous terrains, harsh climates of African desert, and against all odds. And the most unbelievable part? It travels for 28 days without melting the ice. But how? In this video, we will talk about a truck that had to travel 5,285 miles. But the problem was not how to make such a long journey. The real problem was that a huge ice block of 3,000 kilograms was kept in this truck. This block of ice had to survive safely through the fiery desert of Africa. That is, the desert that can melt iron easily. This truck loaded with ice had to spend 10 days in this cruel desert. The challenge in this trip was to not melt the ice under any conditions, and that too without any refrigerator. This was in 1959 when, after this challenge, the whole world was watching this impossible journey. In this journey, a 3,000 kilogram block was to be loaded onto a truck and transported from one corner of the world to the other. The trip was supposed to start from Mo i Rana in Norway and end in Libreville. But the question is, why was this happening? Why did this block of ice have to travel so long? It started a year ago in 1958. Luxembourg is a country in Europe from which a very famous radio station was operated. This broadcast was known worldwide as Radio Luxembourg. This radio station gave the audience a unique challenge. The challenge was that if anyone could transport a 3-ton block of ice from the Arctic region to Africa, he would be given a huge reward. In simple words, 100,000 francs will be awarded for every kilogram of ice, which is about $16,000 today. That is $48 million for 3 tons of ice. But this challenge also had some rules. The first rule was that it had to be carried in one piece. The second rule was that this ice would be transported only by road. The third and most difficult rule was that the refrigerator could not be used in this challenge. Radio Luxembourg offered such a large prize because they knew that it was impossible to meet this challenge under any circumstances. During this journey, the dangerous desert of Africa falls where the minimum temperature is 50 degrees. So how can ice that starts to melt as soon as it comes out of the refrigerator survive in this desert? With this in mind, Radio Luxembourg placed such a great reward on fulfilling this challenge. But Radio Luxembourg probably didn't realize how difficult this challenge would get him into. A few months after the challenge was given, a man named Birger Natvik accepted the challenge. Birger Natvik was the managing director of Glasvat, an insulation company in Norway. Natvik believed that this challenge could be met by using their company's insulation. Glasvat's publicity could also increase if this challenge was met. Word had spread that the Glasvat company had accepted the challenge of transporting the ice block. To meet this challenge, Natvik formed a team and the work began. Natvik discussions were rampant in the newspapers. When news of Natvik's preparations reached Radio Luxembourg, they began to fear losing a huge sum of money, and they withdrew their offer. Now that the Glasvat company and its directors had become quite famous, even after Radio Luxembourg's offer expired, Natvik wanted to fulfill the challenge at all costs. They believed that even if they didn't get money, the publicity of their company would increase significantly. It was decided that the ice block from Mo i Rana in Norway should be sent to Libreville in Gabon. The ice block will be brought through the Algerian desert to Gabon after Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Spain, and Morocco. Natvik's team consisted of 1 engineer, 4 drivers, 1 mechanic, and 2 cameramen. They decided to cut a 3-ton block of ice from the glacier, but it was too difficult to lift such a large block. Therefore, it was decided to chop the 200 kilograms into separate pieces and chopper them down. Natvik and their efforts were getting enough media attention that various companies started sponsoring the challenge. Shell took over the fuel, and Scania gave them the truck to transport the ice block. The blocks cut from the glacier were brought down and refrozen to form a single block of 3,050 kilograms. The block was loaded into a truck in a special container and insulated with glass wool on the sides. On the 27th of February 1959, after a thorough installation, this unique journey finally began. The initial journey was much easier because these regions have cool weather and well-maintained roads. As the journey became quite popular, the truck was greeted with warmth by the people of every town it passed through. As the truck progressed, its publicity increased. When this truck was passing through Paris, it was also given good protocol by the police to avoid traffic. And the mayor of Paris had also invited them to dinner. A week had passed since the trip, and then the truck was loaded onto a ship. Next, this truck had to cross a large part of the sea. After reaching the other side, the situation had completely changed. The truck was now on the ground in Africa, where the heat during the day was very intense. Not only was the ice block at risk of melting, but the truck's engine and tires were also at risk while traveling on hot sand. Apart from this, the truck also had security risks because there was a war going on in the desert through which they were passing. Freedom fighters were hiding in the mountains here, and they could take the truck and its crew as hostages. To deal with this threat, the French Foreign Legion also provided security to the truck and crew in some parts of the desert, and they were also given special instructions to cross the desert with minimum stops. But since there were no proper roads in this desert, the truck often got stuck in the sand. The faster they wanted to reach the destination, the more difficulties came. Every time the truck got stuck, it took hours to get it out. This mission of transporting the ice block was getting more and more difficult. On the one hand, there was fear of freedom fighters, and on the other hand, the extreme heat had worsened the condition of the crew. Due to this intense heat, the ice block in the truck had also started melting. If the crew gets stuck here, neither their mission could be accomplished nor the ice could survive here. The snow melted and turned into water, which was fed to the animals that walked in the desert. They spent several nights on the sand, and enduring many more hardships, they slowly progressed towards their destination. After passing through difficult conditions, they finally crossed the hottest desert. Now their destination was very close. After a full 28-day journey, the truck had finally reached Libreville. On arrival in Libreville, they were warmly welcomed, but everyone was suspicious about how much ice was left in the container after 28 days of travel and passing through the hottest desert. In this suspense, when the truck's container was opened, it was hard to believe the scene inside. The ice block, which weighed 3,050 kilograms when it left Norway, still weighed 2,714 kilograms when it arrived in Libreville. That is, after a long journey of 28 days and crossing the hottest desert, only 336 kilograms of ice had melted, and all the rest of the ice block was safely contained in the one piece. Of course, Radio Luxembourg backed out of its offer, but the challenge was still a complete success. The ice was broken up and distributed to the people of Gabon who had never seen ice before today. Natvik and his company did not receive a cash award, but their sales increased dramatically after the challenge. Glassfat is known today as glava and is still known for making insulation materials. We hope you will like and share this video. Also, leave an informative comment below. We keep uploading such informative content, so subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.